be a video designer, which I learned about, is an honor student who enjoys being active in sports, and to hear a well-outspoken advocate for himself, but also for other children who are waiting to find a forever family. So with that in mind, I'd like to turn it over so you can share your story. We appreciate so much, Tristan, your courage to come up and tell us why it's so important for all of us to have a home for a child.
Thank you. Hello, and welcome to the Michigan Heart Gallery. My name is Tristan. I would like to start off by thanking the Jameson Temple Baptist Church for hosting this year's Heart Gallery, as well as all parents, kids, workers, visitors, and everyone else for taking their time to come today. I would like to take a few minutes to talk about my life growing up in the foster care system. I was 8 years old when I left my father's home. That is one day I will never forget. I remember him telling me, Tristan, everything's going to be all right, but for now you're going to stay here at this home. Never cried so hard in my life. All of these feelings were going through my head. Sorrow, rage, abandonment, loss, and of course, confusion. Let's skip ahead a few years into the future. About 8 placements later, 3 years equivalent, I went to court in for my usual review hearing with my father. Now mind you that those past 3 years had been like a tumultuous current, so my emotions were erratic. I would feel happy and content one moment, and then angry and dejected the next. When we arrived to court, I waited while they talked for about 30 minutes. I did not understand why. Both my mind and my heart were racing like a car in a Daytona 500 track. When they brought me in, I received the worst news possible that anyone can receive. I no longer had any family that had rights over me. I immediately burst into tears. I will never forget that day when my life was completely turned upside down. Fast forward 3 more years, and I can tell you that my life in the system has not been the greatest, but I have learned that family is not something you just throw away or give up on, and more importantly, I've experienced things that have and will continue to help me succeed in life. My current views on finding a family, they need to be supportive and very optimistic. I'm hoping that before I graduate high school, which will be next year, I will find the family that I have been longing for. I myself have put some effort in finding a family. On my journey, I have learned to become an advocate. I not only represent myself, but I represent all the other kids in the system. I have been featured in the Lansing State Journal, the Oakland Press, and on Tigers.com. I have participated in a few art galleries as well through the Wendy's Wonderful Kids program at St. Vincent Catholic Charities. Our recent art show was called A Closer Look at Me. The purpose of the event was to allow our community to see adoption through the eyes of youth and care. After the program, please stop by and view our art in the presentation. Now, before we close, I want to give you 3 lessons that I would like for all of you to take home. The first one is, no matter where you go, you will always have people right beside you who love you. 2, you are not your past. You cannot change your past, but you can change yourself. 3, there is always a time of joy, even if life is crappy around you. I've experienced that many times. Now I would like to end you by telling you my 3 life goals. I want to attend MSU in Lansing, Michigan to pursue my dream of the digital arts. With my hard-earned degrees, I will want to make video games for three industries, as I said earlier. And lastly, I want to make a change in my family legacy. I don't want to give up on anybody in my family. I don't want to give up on anybody. I'm gonna make my kids I'm gonna give my kids what they need, and that's a family and a father. Thank you all so much for listening and learning from my life story. You all are not alone, remember that.